So, hey guys, you're Knoxville.
Yeah, indeed.
Yeah.
You're from Eastbourne, South England. What was it like growing up there?
Nice, actually.
Yeah,
It's very, very nice. It's a very safe town to be in, so yeah, we're very lucky to be there, really.
Yeah.
Yeah, nice by the seaside, and also it's really nice. Yeah.
Don't often get that coming from peeps in England.
Where I live, so like hellhole. So I hear where these guys are from, Vancouver.
Okay, awesome. So, what were your first musical influences?
Mine was Elvis, Carl Perkins,
Yeah.
Gene Vincent, Eddie Cochran, that kind of 1950s rockabilly artists.
Yeah.
And then obviously through them I got into the Stray Cats and Restless and all the neo rockabilly in the 80s. And then that's when I found psychobilly and punkabilly, if you like.
Yeah, for me, I started out in pop punk, so Blink-182, Green Day, all the usual when you're a 15-year-old kid trying to pretend to play guitar in your bedroom.
Yesterday.
You did kind of hit England as well, pretty much at that point.
Yeah. So, but then I moved on to heavier music and went into metal and some various bands doing that. And about 7 years ago now, Martin approached me and asked if I'd be interested to play double bass. So I gave it a go, and
He's still trying.
it's all gone downhill from there. It's probably the best thing I've done. I've found new influences and everything.
It is quite a difference.
It's incredible. The atmosphere, the whole community within the psychobilly scene is incredible. Everyone's like a massive family. You get to know everyone. Yeah, it's great. So all the influences of bands through that.
Pretty much.
For example, Batmobile, especially. Great bunch of guys, and followed them when I got asked to obviously join the band as well. So really.
Because they almost had a similar sort of story, but back a few years. Same sort of influences, everything, same names.
It's cool.
Cooper, what do you reckon?
Well, not officially playing in the band, I guess it doesn't really matter, but similar thing really, but I grew up on a diet as a teenager of like ska punk, mix of reggae and all that sorts, and punk and that. Then got into in the Zipheads into exactly the same thing, all the old rock and roll stuff, Eddie Cochran, Elvis, the likes, and somehow I ended up playing psychobilly and doing these circuits and just here we are today. Now playing with these boys who have been following around as well, and these boys are absolutely smashing it. So
thanks, man.
Can't wait to see what they got up next. To be honest.
Man.
Hopefully, Cooper misses a couple more
with
gigs.
the guys.
Officially, this is actually the first time I've played with them ever.
Yes.
So
Tonight's going to be a fun night.
Yeah.
Going off our sound check, we've got nothing to worry about.
At all, no.
No, it's cool. We'll see what happens. Watch this space. There was someone else here.
So your takes and influences came from blues music and psychobilly, all that stuff. How and when did you get into that style of music?
My old man was in a band called the River Boys when I was born, and that's a 1950s rock and roll band. So I was born into it really. I sort of grew up being around bands, I was in a rock and roll band with my dad before I started any of the psychobilly and punk sort of stuff. I was probably about sort of 18.
What did your dad play?
He plays guitar and he sings as well.
Oh, awesome.
He's awesome as well.
Yeah,
amazing musician, really is.
Yeah, it really is. I'm pretty lucky and pretty privileged to have that in my life, really. Yeah.
That's a big thing.
Yeah. For me, like I said,
Pretty much
7 years ago, and I've always been into music. My granddad was a bit of he used to do theatre and the stage, so I've always kind of had the influence of performing and everything in my life. But music kind of took more than anything else. So everything kind of just fell into place from there.
That's what is best.
Exactly that.
Could you tell us how the band and why you guys integrated psychobilly sound? I guess just because you enjoyed it.
We've always been quite bluesy and heavy with our rockabilly music, even when we first started. Not that it was meant to be like that. Because I went in the studio with a desire to do just a rockabilly band kind of thing, but when we got in there, it just sort of happened, I suppose. And then from that, it just got a bit more heavy and heavier. Obviously, we met boys like Will and Ray and Graveyard Johnny and stuff like that. Yeah, and then being on that kind of circuit, you sort of learn to write them kind of songs, and you know.
Kind of take your own influences,
Yeah,
put everything
bounce
in.
back, don't they? Back
Yeah.
and forth. My bands, I know, like
Yeah.
Yeah.
Zippers, we all hear each other and go, oh, it's got that similar
Yeah.
vibe of psychobilly that I feel like, you know, I feel like us, well, Zipheads, you guys stand out a bit, like Graveyard Johnnies as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's that.
Yeah.
It's not your traditional psychobilly. That's what I
No.
thought when I first heard you guys, and it's like, oh, wicked. It kind of, you know, spurs you on, gives you new
It
ideas and
was-
things,
it
and
was
things bounce back, and it just evolves a new
Yeah.
vein of
Kind of make something new.
psychobilly, punkabilly, whatever.
Yeah,
you call it,
because
I guess.
Toby
exactly
from
that.
Bedlam even said, didn't he, in the interview that he done a while ago, that obviously us, as in Knoxville, Zipheads, Graveyard Johnnies, obviously we were like the new guys on the scene coming up through
Yeah.
the psychobilly, so it was a complete change from the
We're all
traditional
doing the
psychobilly.
same thing, but different ways.
Yeah,
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, we've
Yeah,
all
it's
got our different kind of takes.
Similar kind of
on-
breakaway. This,
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
it's these kind of lots of bands getting confused now which bands are who.
Yeah.
But yeah, so, yeah, it seems also
So
very
many.
incestuous, the psychobilly scene.
Yeah.
The psychobilly scene, there's, you know, everyone seems to have subbed for each other and
Yeah.
done various different things. It's always
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, we
different
always
genres
cross
and what
paths
have
at some
you.
point or another.
Probably
So,
getting
yeah.
a little bit smaller. And
Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
I mean,
it's definitely quite
yeah,
a
'cause
scene,
it's still
isn't it,
it's still
I
quite
think.
underground, I would say.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, no, it's definitely starting to come a little bit more into the limelight. I think so.
we're hearing more and more.
Yeah, yeah, you do get a lot more people kind of realising the psychobilly scene more and appreciating new music.
And a friend that did exactly the same thing as you and started picking up the double bass and ended up doing the same thing.
Yeah,
So, yeah.
Double bass stuff in a way.
yeah, it's fun. It's a very very fun instrument to play.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Yeah, it's difficult.
So you started the band in 2009. Could you tell us a bit about the scene back then and how it's evolved?
The scene that we started playing on was it was more rockabilly. So we were playing festivals like we were playing the Rockabilly Rave, which is the biggest rockabilly festival in Europe. It's in Rye, and Rockabilly Day in Belgium. Like it was all pretty much rockabilly, but we never really fit in. Like we did and we didn't. Like like people weren't sure about us. Like we had that kind of groove of the 1950s influence kind of thing, but because of the blues influence of that, like you know,
It
we
pushed it a little
weren't
bit further.
authentic
It's
rockabilly.
almost like don't touch the style and
Yeah, it was all-
Don't play with it
Yeah.
more.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
then, but you know that kind of spurs me on, really. Do you know what I mean? Like, in a strange way, I was
100%.
It does give you a passion, especially when you're told, don't do that. You
Yeah.
kind of go, okay, I'm going to do more of that and make it better.
yeah,
Pretty
So-
often it's a good sign as well that something's actually going to
Yeah.
catch on. Then
Yeah,
you're onto
exactly.
something.
Yeah,
exactly, yeah.
yeah.
How
has your music evolved since your beginnings?
I think when this Herbert joined, I think yeah, downhill.
Definitely talking about me.
No, I think it definitely grew a lot more when Jason joined in a good way. Don't get too egotistical, Jason, please. No, but, it's true. It's true. You know, like you coming in with your influences and stuff, change the dynamic of the band, and it's just going from strength to strength, really.
Yeah, we've taken a few different influences and kind of pushed a few new boundaries, especially within our recording as well. Because we've also got a new EP that's due to be released probably next week, I think.
Oh, nice.
Single.
Single, sorry, yeah, single, not EP. EP's later on. But yeah, so we've got like new music, which is it's pushing us more with our influences. We're kind of stripped away from what we have been doing over the last 7 years and kind of going down different routes to kind of get a new
See
dynamic
if you can
and
evolve.
yeah, I think we're achieving it. I think it's
Yeah, it's got the more Spice Girls kind of vibe.
cheeky girls. I was going to say.
That's what everyone seems to be going for.
Yeah.
Yeah, whatever.
That nostalgia
Yeah.
vibe.
Well,
Oh,
H.
do you guys have a message for your public in 2021?
I'll let you take that one.
Listen to the Zip Heads, they're better than us.
Hey! No, that's back.
No, keep going to gigs because it is slowly coming back, and we want to play more. So keep coming out
and just
keep supporting the scene.
Yeah, support the live music scene. The
Absolutely.
venues need it. We need it.
Yeah.
Every musician in the world needs it.
We need it.
Yeah, exactly. It's such an integral part to everything, really, especially with Brexit and especially the pandemic and stuff as well, for bands to really like, tour, just
Connect.
tour in general.
See the fans.
There is so much potential there, and it just needs that little push and everyone to kind of come together and get behind it. Yeah.
Awesome. How do you guys see the future of the band, and what's your projects?
We don't know. If I'm honest with you, no, we're just going with the flow really, because like it's been like this is our 5th gig in 2 years, and this is your first gig in
Since the lockdown, yeah.
So it's hard to tell really.
It's weird. Lose track of time. Like it feels like this is all, you know. I mean, it's so familiar.
Yeah.
It's all like new and fresh again. It's all kind of weird.
It is.
Yeah,
It's strange going back to it, right? So
we had 2 gigs last weekend in London, and we almost couldn't believe we were actually doing a show in front of a full crowd. You know, it's
like things are back to normal. But
you're still sceptical because you don't want to kind of hope too much.
Yeah, I can understand.
Like Martin said, we're taking one day at a time. We're going to concentrate on recording and making sure we can get some new music out there. But we just want to play. We just want to enjoy ourselves.
And that's what it's all about.
If we start taking it too seriously, then it just becomes problematic, especially with the current climate. So definitely just one day at a time.
But having fun.
Exactly.
Paying lots of money.
where's that bit?
I have no idea. Is he taking more than that? we need to that's 80 for me, 20
Down the rain.
Yeah, quid. I've got
Sounds about right.
But no, that's
Yeah.
Do you know any of the bands that are playing tonight? And so, can you talk us a little bit about them?
Batmobile, we know. Yeah, definitely.
Amazing.
we